little bit more about how you have applied that teaching into stage fright cure and how you are helping others overcome their fears. So let's talk a little bit about that and learn some more.
Okay. We have put together a 7-step set of exercises, right?
Mm-hmm.
And called it the rapid relief process. And what the exercises are a combination of the best of things we've learned from other people and some routines that we formulated ourselves. So I teach a class, it's free, everybody. I teach a class called Rapid Relief from Stress and Distress. It's not just about stage fright, it's about anything that somebody wants to feel better about, basically. Anything, something they want to get over, something they want to feel more comfortable anticipating, something that's going on in their lives right now, you know. And so they come to the class to learn the rapid relief process, but also apply the rapid relief process to whatever it is that happens to be going on for them. And it has ranged from stage fright, for sure, you know, singing or music or speaking or whatever that might be. But also in the class, people pick something to work on, as you can tell, and they label it. We don't talk about it. It's not about problem solving. It's not talk therapy in any way, because all people do, they don't even talk about it with each other or even expound on what it is they just come up with a little phrase that represents it to themselves. Like, oh, I'm going to think of some, like one was, what happened in Chicago, right? Something happened to this person in Chicago, and it was bothering that person. And so that's what they decided to use the rapid relief process for. Or argument with Bob, you know? So it's just a very brief label that means something to that person. And then in the class, I take people through each of the steps of the rapid relief process, and then they report to me in the chat what this change was that they felt. I have about 200 now feedbacks like that, you know, individual feedback about what happened to people when they did that. And like, I'm going to say 99.9% of people went from an intensity level, or, you know, how much does something bother them, from like 8, 9, 10 down to like 0, 1, 2 in the course of just the class itself. And then I send people a video so they have the techniques to use on their own for other things.
So impressive. And all of that, the link to that rapid relief process will also be in the show notes for anybody wanting to do it. I'm really keen to learn more about it too. So I encourage everybody to go into the show notes. It kind of shifting the gears a little bit. Like, you know, we've learned a little bit about how you walk your clients through the process of releasing some of the stress and overcoming the things that are limiting them. But why is it so important to be able to do it the way you're doing it rather than some other method? And, you know, the method could be just superficial even, but what is it that you're doing that really helps people really tackle it at the roots?
Yeah. You know, there are lots of ways that people can address their stage fright, and probably lots of ways that work, right? Here's an example. I didn't work with this woman. It was just when I was interviewing people for my book about, did they get over stage fright and how did they do that, right? This woman said she was a singer-songwriter, and she said she had a revelation one time, like not a spiritual revelation, but just like an aha moment. Someone said very casually to her, well, you know, not everybody likes the same kind of music, right? Well, everybody knows that not everybody likes the same kind of music. That was not new news, but somehow it hooked into her mind. Then she realized that what she'd been doing in her performing was to try to win everybody over to her music. She thought she had to make everybody in the audience like the music that she was offering, right? And that was causing her a lot of agitation and fear because the stakes got so high, right? And part of her brain was thinking about, you know, everybody's got to like this music. And it got in her way to think about it that way. Well, her mindset shifted when she heard somebody say, not everybody likes the same kind of music. And she went, oh, not everybody's going to like my music. Oh, well, then I'll just play for the people who like my kind of music. And the rest of them, oh, well. And for some reason, it was just the switch that worked for her, right? And so there's all kinds of things. So in the book, I also have a whole section on ways to do that kind of thing, as well as work with your energy. But I really think that, to answer your question, a lot of what is in the 10 tips for getting over stage fright articles is superficial and doesn't make a difference. So the people that I work with often are people who've done a lot of things to try to get over this stage fright, and it just hasn't budged for them. You know, if somebody can get over stage fright, there's a whole thing about turn your fear into excitement, right? On a dime, just turn your fear into excitement. Your brain doesn't know the difference. Well, your brain does know the difference between fear and excitement. But if that idea works for somebody, then yay, absolutely. Yeah. But not all of those things do, in fact.
Yeah, I can see that. And I do believe going to the root is far more beneficial than just superficial. I mean, you hear people say, oh, pretend that everybody is naked, or, I'm like, no, that does not work, actually.
How is that going to help?
That doesn't work. That's so funny. So before we wrap up, I wanted to quickly ask you, right now for people, if they are in the middle of challenges or things that they have identified, okay, this is a fear of mine. Aside from going to your website, which I absolutely encourage everyone to do that, what would be some maybe top 3 tips on helping them move forward?
The first thing to do is and this is the way my book is organized, is get objective about it. So you're going, oh, I have this response in myself. It isn't me. It isn't a character flaw. It's not, it's not a weakness. It's a reaction that for some reason is happening in my system. And it takes me over, like it's big, and it's not something that's rational most of the time. But the first step is to get objective about it and go, oh, I get it. I have this reaction. The second tip falls under the category of create safety for yourself, because it's your amygdala in your brain that really is triggering this response in you. So what you want to do is to create a safe sense of where you are and what you're doing, so the amygdala doesn't fire off. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff, there's physical strategies, mental strategies, situational strategies you can use consciously to create safety for your amygdala, right? Let the shift in mindset with that singer-songwriter I talked about earlier, shifting her mental set about it created safety. It was safe now because, not everybody was going to like her music anyway. She didn't have to work hard to make everybody like her music. So shifts like that, certainly, they create safety for your brain, right? And then thirdly, I highly recommend that people learn the rapid relief process, because it can both dismantle that reaction physiologically, and it also can strengthen positive attributes, positive things, courage and confidence and self-expression, and all of those positive things are also in your energy. And so you can use the rapid relief process to enhance the positive as well as to bring down whatever you perceive as being bothersome.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing all the insight that you have. And I'm actually going to look into it myself and see what it's all about. Yeah, really excited to do that. Before we wrap up, though, what's your favorite movie?
The Philadelphia Story.
Oh, I've not seen that.
Oh, you have to see it. Jimmy Stewart. It's really old. It's a classic.
Okay, well, I'll check into that. Thank you so much for being here. How can the audience connect with you? How can they reach out to you?
Stagefright.com is my main website about performance fears, and rapidrelief.com is about the rapid relief from stress and distress class. Those are the most direct ways, and then there's a contact link in those websites.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom with us. And I encourage everybody to go and check Marti out.
Thank you. It's been
Thanks.
so fun to chat with you.